back. Live again. Live-o. The Chinksey Sports and Music stroke the Arsenal podcast. We're back outside. Listen, I just wanted to do a video on Arsenal's transfer targets and what they can bring to the side and how we can improve with them coming in. People like Declan Rice have been heavily linked with the club over the past few weeks, months or so, if you can say. People like Moises Caicedo. There's a lot of speculation going around in terms of whether we can bring these players into the club and improve our starting 11. I think it's important that we do get some marquee signings in, especially as we're back in the Champions League after so long out. People like Ilkay Gundogan, Moises Caicedo, Xavi Simons, Mark Guehi, to name but a few, have been heavily linked to the club. And I want to just start off with I'll go through all of them. And I want to start off with Declan Rice because I feel like he's the number one target. He's a player that can come straight into the side, enhance the squad. Someone that really will dovetail really well with the players we have now already. He already knows a few of them from England and having played against them for the past 5-6 seasons anyway. He's a young man, captain, leader, got a lot of drive and determination, got a lot of ability and quality as well. And most importantly, he has a lot of levels to reach. I feel like he's someone that can get a lot better under the guidance and stewardship and tutorship of Mikel Arteta. And obviously, he is a London boy from southwest London. So, yeah, I'm sure he's someone that would like to probably stay in London. Obviously, I've heard that he has been linked with Bayern Munich in the past few days, but I don't think he's going there. I think he's gonna probably want to go to an ambitious side in the Premier League. Someone like an Arsenal, possibly a Newcastle, but I don't think he's probably gonna wanna go there. But I think we're the front runners in this chase, and I'll be really surprised if this deal doesn't get done. I feel like it's just a question of whether or not Arsenal do pay that asking price, which is pretty hefty, if you ask me, of about in a region of about 90 to 100 million. So it would now. I feel like this particular transfer will be symbolic for the Cronkies and in terms of the direction Arsenal want to go in. Like put it this way, if we were to get this deal over the line, I feel like it marks a change in how we are. It marks a change in terms of how we're trying to move forward, and now we're really serious. We're trying to move like a big club in it, because big clubs get big players. Facts. So obviously, if we were to get in Declan Rice for that kind of money, everyone stands up and take notice of us. And obviously, because obviously I feel like some rival fans probably feel like this season was a flash in the pan. So it's up to us to obviously, to fight back against those claims and allegations and really show we mean business, and we're here to win the league and we're not messing around. Not no top four, faffing around, top four, top five and all this stuff that we've been doing for the past few seasons. It's about now winning those major honours, the Champions Leagues, the Premier Leagues, really going toe-to-toe with Man City and actually beating them and competing with them, because we've lost 15 of the last 16 fixtures against Man City, and that has to stop if we want to win the league. We've got to definitely beat them at least once next season. That's definite. We can't lose 2 games against them again. We've got to get a win against them if we really want to win this title. Especially as well, we're going to be playing them in the Community Shield in August after Man City secured the double. So, which means basically the Community Shield is usually the Premier League winners against the FA Cup winners. However, if the FA Cup winners and the Premier League winners are both the same team, which in this case Man City won both, then the opponent will be the team that finishes as runners-up in the Premier League. So as a result, it's Arsenal v Man City in the Community Shield. So that will be an early chance to kind of gauge how well we'll be able to fare against them going into this season, as we'll be playing them a week before the season starts. So that should be interesting. Hopefully we can get our signings in by then and really, have had a good pre-season and we're up and running going into the new season. So Declan Rice should be our number one target, and hopefully we can get him in. I'm pretty confident that the deal will be done. A lot of people seem to think that that's a done deal. It's just a question of allowing him to play that Europa Conference League final on Wednesday, in which they got a tough game. West Ham have got a tough game against Fiorentina. For me, that's probably a 50-50 fixture. Fiorentina, half decent side in Italy. They're probably like the 8th best team in there. And yeah, probably you can argue West Ham are probably 8th or 9th best team in England. So it's a good match. I feel like those two sides were probably the better sides, along with Villarreal in that competition. So it's no surprise that both of them have reached the final. So that should be interesting. He's got a big game on Wednesday, one of the biggest games of his career. Especially he has an opportunity to go down in West Ham folklore. And it would be their first trophy in 43 years since 1980. I know that because West Ham beat Arsenal in the FA Cup that season, 1-0, Trevor Brooking header. Yep, so I don't want West Ham to win that, by the way. I'm sorry, Declan, but I want you to join my club. So yeah, hopefully he can do his thing in the final, and then obviously after the final's done, it will be telling at the end of the game how he reacts. If he's kind of waving to the fans, you can kind of get an insight on whether it's a goodbye or whether it's just, you know what I mean? You can get kind of a vibe of whether it's a goodbye or whatever at the end of that fixture. So that'll be interesting. I'll probably be watching mainly for that on Wednesday. So yeah, Declan Rice, definite good signing. He can play in a couple positions as well, as a centre back, number 6 holding midfielder, and as a number 8, more kind of attacking midfielder, driving. So yeah, next up, Moises Caicedo. He's a really good player, someone that really impressed me last season especially. He's getting better and better. He is someone with a lot of ability on the ball, really tough, energetic. He's like a young Kante. He's really aggressive on the ball. He progresses the ball well, technically really sound. Started to play as a right back as well. This new inverted thing where the fullbacks are kind of starting as a fullback, but then are drifting into midfield like Zinchenko does. That's interesting. That's an interesting facet of his game. But the fact that he's really good on the ball is really important as well, because especially if we want to move the ball quickly, and we're playing against Champions League side, so obviously we're going to want to have depth in midfield across the team as well. So bringing him in would be a major coup for the club, especially how young he is. He's 21 years old, has a big future ahead of him, someone that's going to improve a lot, someone that has already improved a lot. It's just the only thing is I would be surprised if we were to get Rice and Caicedo, mainly because of just the financial outlay needed to get both of them players in. We're probably looking at north of 150 million for the two of them. If you were to ask me which one, that's a difficult question. If you were to ask me which one between Rice and Caicedo, that's a difficult question, because I think they're both fantastic. I'd rather get both of them in and worry about that, how to fit them in after. But personally, I think both of them do get into our starting 11, and they'll enhance the overall quality of our starting 11 if we were to bring them both in. The thing is, I see it as this. I see it as Declan Rice at this current moment in time is at a more advanced level than Caicedo, but that's probably more to the fact that he's more experienced and he's older, as he's 24 and Caicedo's 21. However, I feel like there's not much difference, and I feel like in 2 to 3 seasons, Caicedo's going to be a world beater. So it's really important that we do get him in because he's going to get better. I can see the quality he has. It's obvious. And he obviously wanted to join us in January, so he's someone that would probably be very pleased to kind of get his move. And it looks like that Brighton have kind of came to a mutual agreement with him that if he, because they obviously raised his salary in January. So obviously what they did was they increased his salary, and just to, basically because he kind of wanted to leave in January because he obviously the chance to join Arsenal was there. Brighton said no. So what they did was they gave him more money basically, and he stayed put until the end of the season, got them into Europe. Now it's probably the time for him to move on into bigger and better things, bigger club. His profile will be rising all the time. So I feel like he's someone that will probably leave this summer. Whether it's to come to Arsenal or not is the big question. And yeah, that would be fantastic. Next up is Xavi Simons. Some people have been debating how to say his name. Some people say Simons, some people say Simon, but it's Xavi Simons. He's a player that I have known about for a few years now. I remember him being at Barcelona because he came from the youth academy. I remember seeing him and Alejandro Balde. They're quite close. I remember seeing them. He's got a big social media profile and presence. He's like one of them child stars from the age of like 8, 9 years old. He was quite big, quite big on social media, and he's got millions and millions of followers time ago. So he would be a high profile player. He obviously had his breakthrough season as a footballer this season, even though he's been on the circuit for quite a while. Like I said, he's been touted as a star from young ages, like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He was said to have been a superstar. That's why he decided to leave Barcelona to go to PSG. That didn't really work out for him because obviously the traffic that was in front of him, people like Neymar, Mbappe, Messi were in front of him. So obviously he left last season to join PSV, and that's where he really excelled in his first season in the Dutch Eredivisie. Did well against us in Europa League, really impressed me. Went on some solo runs, good dribble on the ball. And yeah, obviously I think he finished as the top scorer in the Eredivisie, or he got 19 goals. It's either top or second top scorer. Got 19 goals and about 9 assists as well in that league, which is fantastic for a debut season. Coming off the right wing, he can also play across the front line. He can play as like a false 9. He can play as a number 10, drifting in between the lines. Think Phil Foden. He's someone that can really got a low centre of gravity, technically really good, a fantastic dribbler, good finisher. He's like probably a Phil Foden type player. Left-footed, neat and tidy on the ball. Not really pacey, but he's got technical ability to drift past players. So yeah, he'll be someone that can challenge Saka and also add depth to the side. Very young player. I think he's 19, 20 years old. So he's only going to improve. So yeah, that would be a really good signing. I don't think it will take a lot of money to get him in as well. I'm hearing that there's a low buyout clause to get him out of PSV. So that will be interesting to see if we can kind of tickle their belly, if you like, and try and get him into the club. So Xavi Simons is another exciting young prospect. He can really enhance our depth and and challenge Saka, and that could actually get the best out of both players as well. So yeah, that's another good signing as well too. Next up, Mark Guehi as a centre half. If we were to bring in Guehi from Crystal Palace, that now gives us depth in defence, as we already have Kiwior as cover for Gabriel. Obviously, then we have Ben White and Tomiyasu as right backs, and then at the moment in time, at the moment of recording, we have Kieran Tierney and Zinchenko. So we'll have. So if we were to get Guehi, we would have Ben White and Tomiyasu as right backs, Mark Guehi and William Saliba as right centre backs, and then Gabriel Magalhaes and Jakub Kiwior as left centre backs, with Alexander Zinchenko and Kieran Tierney as left fullbacks. So obviously that would be kind of two players in each position, which means we have depth for competitions like the Champions League, and to compete better in cup competitions like the FA Cup and the League Cup, which we've done very poorly in this season. But in a season where we need to win a trophy and to build on what we've done this season to show that it wasn't a flash in the pan, I feel like, yeah, we do need to get another very good defender in. That someone that can come in if we want to make it one or two changes, the levels won't drop significantly as it has done so in the last few years. So Guehi, yeah, that could be a decent signing to increase the depth. I'm not mad about that. I feel like we do need someone in there. So if Guehi's the man, then so be it. Next up, Moussa Diaby. I've known him since he was at PSG a few years back, probably talking about 3-4 seasons ago. He's one of the few players PSG let go, along with Christian Nkunku and people like that, who've had to leave and rebuild their careers and kind of regenerate and you know what I mean, just kind of go somewhere else and ball out and then come back. Sometimes you got to do that. You kind of got to drop a level, show yourself, then come back. People like Mo Salah have done that. People like Kevin De Bruyne have had to do that, where like you're not getting opportunities, so you have to probably go to a more modest club. When you ball out there, then someone buys you, like as in Kunku's case. Obviously, he's been at Leipzig doing his thing there. Chelsea look like they've signed him, and then obviously now he has an opportunity to prove himself at the high level again. So yeah, going back to Moussa Diaby, he's someone that can in that sense. But I feel like because people have been doubling up on Saka, it's another option, because obviously he'll be an unknown quantity in the Premier League. So obviously you might say the defenders know Saka, and they can kind of negate his strengths and threat. However, with people like Moussa Diaby, you can switch it up. If maybe Saka's not having the best game, someone that can come on and bring a different energy and bring a different profile, have a different kind of threat, an unknown quantity where you don't really know what he's going to do because you haven't played against him before. So it could be an important thing, having an option and something up your sleeve, like let's say in a Champions League in a tight game where you're struggling to open up a defense. So someone like a Diaby coming off the bench could be a good option to have. I probably lean towards a Xavi Simons type player, a kind of technical dribbler that can play across a few positions. Like he can play as a number 10, float between the lines, can kind of link up with Odegaard. I feel like that type of player would be good, especially off the right